Hey, I'm Nick from Celestial Wizard,
I'm Soren.
and you're watching Brutally Delicious.
The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
What's up, everybody? I'm Dark Masick with Brutally Delicious. I am here in Madison, Wisconsin at the Mad with Power Festival with members of Celestial Wizard. We have Nick and Soren here. Guys, how are you doing?
Doing well, man. How are you?
Amazing.
That's fucking great. This
Yeah.
festival's a dream come true for me as a fan. How are you two feeling?
Dream come true for us as musicians.
It's surreal for sure, and it's been an incredible experience all the way around.
It's our first time in Wisconsin and our first time at Mad with Power. There's a lot of firsts. So it's really cool that our first time in a new state gets to be something as cool as this. So
I'm trying to think, like, are there other states where that could come true? I mean, probably, but...
I mean, there's Mile High Power Fest in Denver, which we're playing in a couple weeks. But outside of that, I mean, I don't know. It's really...
There's predominantly, as of right now, there's two major power metal festivals in the United States. You got Prog Power and you got Mad with Power.
Yeah, so you have Prog Power.
And so this is a massive opportunity for us, and it's a dream come true.
Yeah.
Every musician we've shared the stage with, every person we've met along the way has just been open arms and kindness and really making us feel welcome, and we're eternally grateful for that.
Yeah.
So have you two been to Georgia before?
We haven't been to Georgia. Hopefully soon, though.
Hopefully.
That'd be wild if Prague Power was like your first time to Georgia too. So
Fingers crossed. Prog Power, hit us up. Let us play your show. We'll do it.
I have no connection to that, FYI. So 2-ish years ago, you released Winds of the Cosmos, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's your second album?
Yeah, so our first album was Sinister Awakening, and then technically it's an interesting story with Winds of the Cosmos because it released 2 years ago independently, and we ended up getting picked up by Scarlet Records for that release.
Shout
So
out
then
Angela.
it released again January of 2023. So if you look at the release date, it'll say 23, but technically it did come out like 6 months earlier than that in 22, just independently. But yeah, 2 years ago, basically. So.
Okay, so that's a fun re-release cycle. I think
Yeah, right.
I think Motley Crue had that in like '82 with Too Fast for Love. Otherwise, I don't hear about this happening.
Right.
If that's any indication of where we're headed, I'm all for it.
Yeah. We'll go. Well,
I follow the crew path.
We're a little tighter laced than Motley Crue, I think, at this point. But who
Much
knows?
more sober.
Yeah.
Hopefully, fewer vehicular manslaughter deaths
Yes.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
So far, we're at 0, and we'd like to keep it that way.
and spousal abuse, but
Yeah. we'll keep that at 0 too, thankfully. So.
I was proposing this as like a friendly interview too.
Which we've got vehicular homicide, spousal abuse.
So,
Um,
so getting picked up by the label. Sorry, I've seen like a bunch of bands today. Were you saying that you're now label mates with Fellowship, or
we're label mates with
Okay.
Fellowship. Yes, sir.
happy?
Absolutely.
Happy it was not some other band that I confused with.
Yeah. That's actually we didn't. Our contact at Scarlet Records didn't realize we were playing this festival until he saw, because he had his eyes on Fellowship, and he saw that we were on the bill too, and he was like, "Oh my God, we got Scarlet representation like in spades at Mad with Power." But yeah, we're a recent addition to the Scarlet team as of basically last year, and they've been super great to us.
They've been amazing, and we got a chance specifically today because Fellowship played yesterday, we played today, and we had a really great opportunity to hang out with the guys from Fellowship and chat with them and give them the good old American welcome.
Yeah, send them selfies back to Scarlet, be like, "What's up?"
Yeah, but yeah,
Label mates hanging out.
Yeah, they're incredible people.
Super duper
wonderful,
nice guys. Really,
wonderful people.
really proud to call them label mates.
So I got to talk to them earlier. That was a blast too.
They're great.
They're good guys.
So sorry for the boring obligatory question.
No,
Any
go
chance
ahead.
of a tour with you two?
Oh, between the two of us? Whoo!
Angelo, make it happen.
Yeah. Come on, Scarlett. If we can get into Europe, probably. I mean, it depends on them. They're definitely punching in a higher weight class than we are, by a wide margin.
And if
And also, visas are hard to figure out in the U.S. So maybe not soon, but in my lifetime, hopefully, eventually.
And, you know, we're fortunate to be in the U.S. where, you know, going out of the country is a lot easier than getting in.
Yes.
And so, you know, we've talked about it. Nothing concrete yet.
Just one of those like
talks.
over 6 beers, be like, we should tour together sometime.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, sounds good. So
and
don't
you know,
take everything with a grain of salt.
Oh yes, and you know they've stated that, you know, if it were to happen, they're all for it. We're all for it. It's a matter of getting us over there.
Yeah.
And that would definitely be. It's a goal.
Yeah, we've got growing
sure.
to do as a band first before we achieve stuff like that. But eventually, fingers crossed, we'll get to share the road with those guys. Mm-hmm. They're very nice, and we'd be honored to be on the road with them for sure.
Absolutely.
I think your reception today was phenomenal.
Hey, thank you.
I'm there in the pit, just saying. Like,
right on. Glad we did you proud.
I was. I don't know that story. Like Magic Sword, I was supposed to interview them during your set, and they canceled because apparently one wasn't feeling well. And I'm like, I get to see them now. Hey,
right,
happy for that. So you two just touched on like two of the things I tend to ask about: visas and just touring in general.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm told that at least one of the application steps for getting a European or I guess foreign band into the States just tripled in price.
Oh yeah. I mean. I don't know if you've run into this at all, but we've overheard Ty from Was the Trident talking about it, and sounds like a real nightmare. So
and so, you know, with my personal experience booking Mile High Power Fest, you know, it is a definite concern, and you know it's way too expensive to get, you know, visas for overseas bands to come over here. And I think that, you know, every overseas band that, you know, we've come in contact with, whether that's through Scarlet or with our own booking, you know, it's worth every penny. But I think that the cost of visas overall has
starting to become a lot more pennies.
Yeah, because you know it's $4,000 to $5,000 per member to get them over here, and it's insane. But I think that a lot of overseas bands, Fellowship included, you know, they're worth every penny. And
it'll probably, as things continue to change and prices will probably go up because it's, you know, living in the U.S. I think we're gonna see a lot less out of country bands at a lot of these like festivals, just because it's, you know, becoming so much more expensive for each band. You know, if they're paying their own way out here given the festival, or if the festival's paying for them to get over here, either way, somebody's out of pocket. Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and depending on the band, it just might not be feasible for them to get out to the U.S.
Yeah, and you know, pretty much every band that is willing to make that financial sacrifice, you know, it's for the fans. When it comes down to it, it's for
a lot of
providing these people with an incredible performance, and you know, showing up, and because I mean, Fellowship, this was their very first U.S. show, and they absolutely killed it. It was incredible from start to finish.
Can confirm.
Yeah. Badass.
It was a treat to witness, and you know, we wish absolutely nothing but the best for those guys, and we'd love to bring them out to the U.S. You know, down the line. Again, all depends on visas and booking and schedules and all that fun stuff.
Hopefully things start changing for the better with that kind of system, because if it starts getting more expensive, like I said, you know, as much as these dudes are awesome, like, especially if they're paying it out of pocket, like, these bands are going to start taking losses just to be out here, and it's like, you know, they have to at least be able to, like, find a place to sleep and buy groceries at the very least. And
I think that's where we're very fortunate to have, you know, Ty specifically in charge of Rabbit Power. Is, you know, he really pull out all the possible stops to allow for Fellowship to come out here and make their process as easy as possible. And you know, we were treated to an incredible performance last night. And it just showcases the mass amount of work that came in from both the venue and promoters, as well as from the band itself. And it was a beautiful thing to witness. It was incredible.
And on a selfish personal note, our label is European, and we don't get to see a lot of our label mates that often. So for us to be able to finally link up in person with these guys, because of Ty, was great. and it's maybe not something we could have done on our own this year or the next.
So I guess just like, thank you for all that.
Yeah.
On a more like positive note.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. So you dudes are from Denver. You brought up like Mile High Fest.
Yeah.
Oak, Ash, and Thorn is on this bill is also
Yes.
from Denver.
Yes.
As a fan of like power metal, usually I get like one European metal tour per year.
Yep.
Like last year, like Rhapsody came back, thank God.
Yeah.
And like Wind Rose is here this year, Vision of Atlantis. I mean, they have a reason why. I used to say like, all those good metal bands are in fucking Europe, and I get to see them pretty much never except for 70,000 Tons of Metal.
Right.
Yeah.
But we got, I love this festival. It just introduced me to some great new American metal.
Right. Yeah.
So being from Denver, is this like, is there a new burgeoning scene there? I mean, you know the meme, like, it's weird that it's happened twice.
This one.
All right.
Look, it takes.
Hey, what's up, dude?
So, Denver in and of itself has a massive metal scene. In Denver alone, not including other states in Colorado, just in Denver, there's over 1,500 local metal bands. It's insane. And, the scene itself has just been growing and growing and growing. And I think it's finally at that point where people are starting to recognize it both nationally and internationally. And so, when the idea for Mile High Power Fest came up, personally it was, a childhood dream come true to throw a power metal festival, and we're very fortunate to be able to have the lineup that we have. And with this being the inaugural year, we're very, very blessed to have all the musicians we have. And the Denver scene itself is massive, and it just keeps growing. It keeps growing, and that's one thing we're really trying to tie into Mile High Power Fest, is the significance of the local scene. We're always going to have a couple local bands opening the show. We're going to keep it as local as possible. Nick here did all the artwork for it. Save for the logo was done by Trent Jacobs at Sinister Star, but all the posters, all the graphics were done by Nick here. And it's Denver has such a incredible scene. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. And with Denver being such an island when
That's
it comes
what it is, really.
to tourist
It's like
spots.
Denver as a hub has a great scene, and then you have to drive like 5-6 hours any direction to get to the next good city.
Yeah.
So as much as it's a great scene, it's kind of like isolated.
Yeah.
So the hope is that more Denver bands can grow and cut their teeth and start getting out of Denver into these other markets and areas.
Oh, yeah.
To kind of show what Denver's made of a little bit.
And and there's so much talent in Denver. Whether you have like the big bands that have made it, like Havoc, Cephalic Carnage, Legion.
Those are all Denver bands?
Yeah,
I did not know it. I did not know any single one of them. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know the band, sorry. I didn't know they were from Denver.
Oh,
Yeah. And then you've got like One Republic in the fray, also from Denver. But there's so much musical ability in this scene. And one of the things that I'm trying to do with Mile High Power Fest specifically is showcase that. So for example, we've got 2 local Denver bands opening this year. We're hosting a battle of the bands to find our openers for next year. And we're always going to have 2 Denver local bands open up the festival. No matter, if we get, super hypothetically, probably not gonna happen. If we get like Metallica to headline, we're still gonna have local bands opening, because a lot of these bands try so hard and they work so hard and they put all the work in to make themselves successful. And sometimes all they need is that shot, that one big show to get them noticed, to get them on a big stage. And I think that being able to provide that opportunity for a lot of these bands is something that the Denver scene really needs. Without having to go through Live Nation and Ticketmaster, being completely independent and being trying to keep this festival as local as possible and centered around the Denver scene is the main goal with it. And I think we're doing an all right job. Right now, like I said, we're hosting a battle of the bands the night before to find our openers for next year, and we're going to keep that train rolling. We're going to stick by the local scene because without the local scene, every band you know started out as a local band at one point in their lives. You know, again, whether that's Metallica starting out in San Francisco or Slayer also starting out in like LA, every huge band started out at that level. And without having that opportunity to grow and to flourish as musicians and learn the scene and, you know, get bigger, we're just trying to keep the scene alive, you know?
That's beautiful, man. I guess just last couple things about like your band style. Sorry, we probably should have started with this before we start talking about stuff. So let me just look at my notes here. So when I reviewed Winds of the Cosmos 2 years ago, something I always try to do is like find a cool way to describe the band. It's usually like an amalgamation of several.
Yeah.
I can honestly say I've never said this about any other band. With a lot of power metal, it's like, well, I sound like Nightwish with, you know, some more aggression.
Yeah.
I think I had Powerwolf, Gravedigger, and Skeleton Witch. How on the nose? How on the nose am I?
That's I mean, it touches on all the elements. It's super interesting. I've heard also people call it like blackened power metal because it's got that kind of like melodic, fast-paced music to it that kind of is associated with power metal. But our vocalist obviously it's all aggressive vocals, which kind of shifts us in another direction. So yeah, I mean, adding Powerwolf, Gravedigger, and Skeleton Witch. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you fuse all three of those together, that'd be pretty damn close. I take that as a compliment.
It's a huge compliment.
Awesome. Yeah.
I meant it in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so interesting that it's just like such a wide spectrum of bands because Skeleton Witch and Powerwolf are so opposite of each other tonally.
I forget his name, but the harsh vocalist. Like I was like, as soon as I heard that, I checked. Is that the singer for Skeleton Witch doing a side project?
Right.
But,
No, our vocalist name is Amethyst.
Thank you.
I don't know who's doing vocals for Skeleton Witch now. I should know that, but I don't. But once again, another compliment. Like they work hard, you know, and so do we. And hopefully, you know, it's a unique sound for sure because we're drawing from a lot of different influences. But hopefully, we can continue to keep it all glued together in a way that's all moving in the same direction. You know.
Yeah.
I think skull crushing friendship metal is the best way we've been described.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you show your two tattoos? Because I think that also.
Absolutely.
Okay.
On this arm, right?
Yeah. So we got the legend. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So this was the first tattoo I ever got, which is just some odds and ends from Ocarina of Time. So it's the Triforce and the Master Sword with the.
I know what it is.
It's long in the day. I'm late. It's late in the day. I've been here a long time.
Water temple, fire temple.
But the gems from the sages, I can't remember.
I think so.
Anyway, and then that is Lady Justice from Metallica's Injustice for All album.
As soon as I saw those two, I'm like, maybe that's the better description. Like Metallica if they were fans of Zelda.
Yes. Exactly.
There you go.
So, the most aggressive nerds possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I have many more concealed on me. I won't get naked for this interview.
Damn.
Sorry, next time. That's the you got to pay to see that one. That's the R-rated version. But yeah, I mean,
You know, and I think that kind of
those are the tats.
That kind of showcases, you know, something that makes Celestial Wizards so special in my mind is we all have a different favorite genre of metal. Ooh. You know, like I've got Epica right here. I love symphonic power stuff. Nick, you're definitely more like thrash and stuff. We've got Will, our other guitarist, who's definitely more like old school rock and roll. You know, Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Uriah Heep. Amethyst is very obscure metal, I'd say. Black metal, synthwave. And
the most eclectic music taste for sure.
Yes, and Tim, our drummer, is very prog oriented, and I think that
as drummers are.
Yeah. And I think having all those elements come together, and all of us bring our own style and our own, you know, flavor into the mix, really creates the epic sound that is Celestial Wizard.
Oh yeah. So I guess just let's wrap things up and then let's see the end of Magic Sword Sets. Hey, so future plans. When's the next album? Are you touring anytime soon?
Oh my goodness. That's several questions in a row. Next album hopefully soon. Once we get finished with our festivals in August, we're hoping to be in the studio. Just getting things hatched out and ready to go for the following months. In terms of tours, probably nothing else. We might have one left in 2024. The rest of everything is looking towards 2025, spring and summer. We'll see what's happening. I can confirm for sure we're playing Winterfest in Vancouver in February of next year. Other than that, everything's tentative. But we're working on new music, new album coming soon. Tours hopefully happening in the next 6 months.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much.
I know it's like an answer or not an answer at the same time, but
It's all top secret.
I'd hate
It's hush
to
hush.
hype everything up and then something fall through and be disappointing people.
Sure, understood.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, guys.